Number 10. Beach umbrella. Most people go to the beach to relax and get away from the stresses of life. While it's pretty common for swimmers and surfers to drown or be attacked by sea life, you'd think sticking to the shore and sand would be safe, right? Well, not exactly. There's dangers around every corner. In August 2022, 63-year-old Tammy Perrault was killed on a South Carolina beach. The incident happened while she was out enjoying the day with some friends and Mike, her husband. It didn't seem to be too windy, maybe a little breezy according to Mike. But somehow, Tammy was struck by a runaway beach umbrella. It impaled her straight in the chest after a sudden gust of wind picked it up. Witnesses say she was sitting in the wrong place at the wrong time. The umbrella went directly through Tammy's arm and pierced her rib cage. She was taken to the emergency room right after the incident, but after just 1 hour, Tammy was gone. Mike and Tammy were married for over 27 years and had recently been enjoying their retirement. Her loved ones say that she was passionately in love even after all that time together. It's truly a sad situation. Number 9. Deadly exchange. In August 2022, a woman named Rachel Dollard was arrested not long after visiting her incarcerated romantic partner, Joshua Brown. He was being held in Tennessee's Turney Center Industrial Complex for 11 years over drug charges. Even though Joshua already had his time in court and received his sentence, it seems he didn't learn his lesson. During the lovers' short visit, they shared a passionate kiss. At least, that's what it looked like to everyone else in the room. In reality, Rachel was transferring about half an ounce of meth inside her mouth. The kiss was just a ploy to pass it to Joshua. The drugs were contained inside a balloon pellet, and Josh swallowed the capsule in hopes of retrieving it later on from one end or the other. This masterful plan didn't exactly go how they hoped, though. Shortly after the exchange, Joshua was rushed to the hospital. While there, he passed away due to a drug overdose. Since she was the one who brought the meth into the correctional center and gave it to her partner, Rachel was charged with murder. So, not only did Joshua lose his life over this stupid plot, his lover's life was also ruined forever. Moral of the story is, don't do drugs, kids, and also, don't be stupid. Number 8. Sledding on a mattress. In 2008, 46-year-old David Monk and a few of his friends went to the Sal's Duel Resort in the Italian Alps to enjoy some time in the snow. They wanted to go sledding and picked out one of the biggest mountains. The 46-year-old British man thought it would be a good idea to use a foam crash barrier used as protection on a ski lift support as a makeshift sled. They basically used a mattress. The mattress quickly gained speed and the men weren't able to control it. Sadly, they plowed into a safety net on their ride. David hit his head on a corner post and suffered severe damage, killing him almost instantly. 2 of his friends were critically injured. Police found David and his group while out on a motor ski patrol. Paramedics attempted to resuscitate David, but were unable to bring him back. They determined that the men had likely spent the previous night out drinking, which explains why they thought sledding down a mountain on a piece of foam was a good idea. David left behind his wife Anne as well as 2 teenage sons. In an interview, Anne spoke about her deceased partner saying, "He was a loving husband and father. He was such a kind man who loved his family very much." It seems that David's friends will make a recovery, but it's unlikely the man's loved ones will ever get over this loss. What's the craziest thing you've done in the snow? Tell us in the comments and hit subscribe while you're at it. Number 7. TIMBERRRR. Coconuts can be difficult to collect at times. They grow high up in trees and many people collect them by hand. Some even chop down the whole tree just to get the coveted fruit, which is exactly what happened on January 9th, 2022. In the Shambur village in India, a 37-year-old man whose name has been listed as Yatiraj was cutting down trees at a coconut farm. He accepted a contract from a local farmer, but unfortunately for him, this job ended in tragedy. While chopping down the trees, Yatiraj was accidentally struck by a falling trunk. The accident caused severe injuries all over the man's body. As soon as someone noticed what had happened, he was rushed to the nearest government hospital. But by the time he reached the facility in Bantwal, he was already long gone. The accident came only 4 months after Yatiraj was married. We're not sure if we'll ever be able to look at a coconut the same way after this. Number 6. Leap of faith. In order to go bungee jumping, you have to be a pretty brave individual. The simple yet terrifying act of stepping off a ledge and plunging down who knows how far leaves many people sick to their stomachs. To bungee jump safely, there's a lot of work involved. Trained professionals have to make sure proper safety checks are met. Equipment, usually reinforced cords held up by a crane, is in good shape, and that there's no obstacles in the jumping path. Unfortunately, in 1997, a 22-year-old man thought he could go bungee jumping all by himself with simple bungee cords. Eric A. Barsha, who made a living working in the fast food industry, tied a few of the stretchy cords together to make a fairly long rope of sorts. He then took one of the ends and wrapped it around his foot, while leaving the other anchored at the top of his jump site, a railroad trestle at Lake Accotink Park. The drop below him was about 70 feet. As you've probably gathered since he's on this list, Eric wasn't all too bright. He didn't have the proper gear to attempt this massive leap of faith, but he leaped anyway. Seconds after the jump, he hit the pavement. His body was discovered at about 2 in the morning. Investigators determined that Eric's makeshift bungee rope was longer than the distance from the ground to the railroad trestle. Incredibly, the cords didn't come loose and were still intact by the time Eric was found. It's possible that he could have survived the leap if he had taken better measurements. He probably still would have gotten hurt, but he might have made it out alive at least. Eric's family was shocked after hearing what he tried to do. His mom claimed that the young man was smart, so it was very surprising that he'd try something so stupid. Number 5. Pig Dinner. In March 2015, 46-year-old Alexandru Pope was killed by a group of pigs. The farmer had gone to take care of the animals. His nephew, Andrei Alexandru, said that he was going to quickly feed them and come back. But 2 hours passed, and there was still no sign of Alexandru. This caused his family members to worry, so they went out to check on him. What they discovered left them horrified. The man had fallen into the pig pen, and the animals had started to eat him. His relatives found Alexandru with a half-eaten face. They believed that he probably had a heart attack while getting the pig's food and accidentally fell into the enclosure. The man did have a history of heart problems. An autopsy did not support this claim, though. It said that Alexandru passed away thanks to severe hemorrhaging, so it's likely he just slipped and fell. After this gruesome incident, the victim's family, who are from Romania, decided that the pigs involved should all be put down. It wouldn't be right to sell them to somebody else after what happened. Their bodies were all burned and not used for consumption. Number 4. Man vs. Cobra. Being afraid of snakes is reasonable. They're slippery, fast, and many of them carry lethal poison in their tiny fangs. Most people have enough common sense to stay away from the reptiles. But as you know, not everyone is gifted with intelligence on this planet. Sadly, 28-year-old Wayne Roth came face to face with a snake in 1998 and did not come out victorious. After ingesting drugs and consuming copious amounts of alcohol, the Pennsylvania man was hanging out at a friend's house. This friend, Crotu, happened to own a 6-foot-long giant cobra. It's unclear why he had such a dangerous animal, but it seems that the snake was his pet. While under the influence of several vices, Wayne decided it'd be a good idea to try and pick up the cobra. This didn't end well. The snake quickly snapped back and bit him. The combination of the venom and drugs in Wayne's system proved deadly. Strangely enough, after the initial bite, Wayne told his friend that he was fine and didn't need help. Instead, he suggested they go to the bar and get another drink. A few hours later, the side effects of the bite were growing obvious, so Crotu tried taking Wayne to the hospital. On the way there, he passed away. Number 3. Caked in dirt. An Iranian man who has been referred to simply as Omu Haji, which means elderly person, passed away in October 2022 after washing himself. The 94-year-old had reportedly not taken a bath or used soap to clean himself in over 60 years. People who knew him from his village told news outlets that a traumatic experience while he was younger resulted in this strange aversion to cleanliness. For decades, Omu lived caked in dirt. He'd often smoke animal feces in a pipe and ate roadkill from the street. He truly believed that being clean would make him sick. Another man from India named Kailash Singh believed something similar. Instead of taking a shower like most people, Kailash would instead take what he referred to as a fire bath. This involved lighting a fire, smoking marijuana, and praying. He said that the smoke and fire killed all the germs and bacteria off his body. Omu may have been right considering his quick passing right after bathing again. It's incredible that he lived so long that way. Maybe he was onto something. What do you think? Number 2. Michael Warner. In 2004, 58-year-old Michael Warner died after a sherry enema. Enemas typically involve a liquid or gas being inserted through the rectum and being absorbed into the body. Some people enjoy them, but it's not exactly everybody's cup of tea. Michael's wife Tammy was apparently the one who helped him do the enema. She claimed that her husband had a severe alcohol problem and would frequently do enemas with the substance. On the fatal night, Tammy helped Michael and gave him 2 large bottles of alcohol through the butt. The things we do for the people we love. Sadly, this much sherry raised Michael's blood alcohol level up to 0.47, which is about 6 times over the legal limit. This outrageous amount resulted in the man's passing. After her husband's death, Tammy was accused of negligent homicide. Apparently, 1 month before the incident, she burnt Michael's will. In court, she denied all accusations and said that she was just trying to help her partner. The charges were later dropped due to a lack of evidence. Number 1. Too many carrots. There's a popular saying that too much of a good thing is bad. This applies to practically everything: relationships, money, work, and the classic carrots. Yup, we said carrots. As kids, people are told to eat the orange veggies to improve eye function and generally stay healthy. Carrots contain lots of good vitamins and nutrients, but when eaten in abundance, they can have negative consequences on your health. In 1974, a British scientist named Basil Brown learned this lesson the hard way. At just 48 years old, Basil prided himself on being a healthy food enthusiast. He was extremely conscious about what was put inside his body, but after his death, an autopsy revealed that he was anything but the picture of health. The man had severe liver cirrhosis, and his skin shined a bright yellow color. If you're unfamiliar, cirrhosis of the liver is caused by many things. Some of the most common include cystic fibrosis and alcoholism, but in unique cases, it can be a result of too much vitamin A. And guess what contains a large amount of vitamin A? That's right, carrots. Medical professionals believe that Basil's strange complexion was likely due to eating too much beta-carotene. This condition is called carotenemia. It's pretty incredible when you think about just how many carrots Basil had to have been eating each day in order to develop such a severe reaction. You shouldn't be afraid of eating these veggies yourself just because of what happened to him, but be sure not to overindulge. Thanks for watching. Did any of these deaths shock you? Let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to see more. We'll see you next time on Bad Badger.